Hello friends, so today we will discuss device management in operating system. So suppose this is our computer system. So multiple devices like keyboard, mouse, printer. So these all devices are connected to the computer system. So operating system will manage all these devices. This is called device management in operating system. So we will see how operating system will manage all these devices. So our first point is device tracking and status monitoring. So in computer system, suppose multiple processes are running P1, P2. Okay. So this P1 is using these devices. Okay. So all the record of which process is using which device. So this record will be so operating system will have all the record of which process is using which device. Okay. So this is the device tracking and status monitoring, and like status of each device is like whether this device is being used by any process or device is free. So all this record operating system will have. Okay. Now second point is device resource allocation. So whenever any process will come and process is required to use particular devices, so this resource allocation will also be done by the operating system. Okay. Now driver management. Okay. So what is device driver? So each device has some device driver. This keyboard has device driver. So this is a specific kind of software which is installed into your system for this particular device. Okay. So this is the software device driver. What is this? What is this? This is a software for device. So each device will have their own device driver which is already installed in your computer system. Okay. So how operating system will communicate with this device driver, we'll understand that. Okay. So this is our device driver. So this will basically act as a translator between OS and your hardware device. This is basically a translator between your operating system and hardware device. Okay. So how this will work? Okay. So we'll understand this. Okay. So suppose application. So your application wants to use any particular device. So application will contact operating system. Operating system will contact appropriate device driver. Suppose application wants to use printer, so operating system will point to device driver of printer device. Now operating system will communicate with device driver, appropriate device driver, and device driver will execute their hardware device. Okay. And reverse communication will also happen like that. Hardware will send data to device driver will send data to operating system, and operating system will send it to application. So this is the device driver management. So with the help of operating system, application will communicate with the device driver and execute their appropriate device. Okay. So this was the driver management in operating system. Now next point is interrupt handling. So what is the meaning by interrupt handling? Okay, we'll see. Suppose this is our CPU. CPU is executing process P1. Okay. CPU is executing process P1, and in between CPU will receive device interrupt. Device interrupt, suppose keyboard, example keyboard. Like CPU is executing process P1 and user presses any keystroke in your in keyboard. Okay, so CPU will receive a hardware or device interrupt signal. So what CPU will do? CPU will move this process P1 into the pause state. Okay. Okay. Now CPU with the help of operating system. CPU with the help of operating system will understand this device interrupt is from which device. Suppose this is from keyboard, so operating system will understand like we are getting interrupt from the keyboard device, and now with the help of operating system, help of operating system, CPU will point this device driver. Okay, so with the help of operating system, CPU will understand like this interrupt is coming from the keyboard and it will point to the appropriate device driver. Okay, so each device driver has some ISR like interrupt service routine, ISR, interrupt service routine. So CPU will execute ISR block of that particular device driver. So this is interrupt service routine. This is some block of code for handling interrupt. Okay. Now CPU will execute this ISR block of appropriate device driver. So after executing this process, CPU will come back and resume this process P1. And then the CPU will, after handling this device driver interrupt, again CPU will continue executing their P1 process. Okay, so this was the device driver management in operating system. With the help of operating system, CPU will understand and will understand appropriate interrupt. So and execute the ISR routine of the driver. Okay, so this was the device management in operating system. So in next video we will see file management in operating system. Okay, so if you wish, you can note it down. Okay, thank you.